Hi everyone, my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in today's video I want to talk about niacinamide and whether it actually helps with acne. And this is one of those questions that keeps coming back, and every time it does, I realize that the answer you get online from our good friend Google doesn't really match how acne works. So when you type in, does niacinamide help with acne? What you get is a very neat little list of reasons that all sound very skincare logical, as it talks about reducing inflammation, regulating oil production, making pores look smaller, strengthening the skin barrier, and even fading post-acne marks. And honestly, when you read that, it sets an expectation. It makes it sound like if you use the right ingredient, acne should simply start clearing up. And to be fair, some of these effects can be real. But the problem is that the expectation this creates doesn't really line up with what's actually happening. Because this way of explaining it only really makes sense if you already assume that acne is mainly a skin problem. And that's where I think a lot of the confusion starts. Because acne doesn't suddenly appear because your skin on the outside is missing the right ingredient or even the right product. For most people, including myself, acne shows up when something inside the body has been off for a longer period of time. And very often that whole process starts with food. Because food quietly influences the gut, blood sugar and hormones at the same time. Then of course a stress, sleep and environmental exposure layer on top, and eventually the skin is where it all becomes visible. So when you ask, does niacinamide help with acne? What you're really asking is whether a surface product can fix something that's actually coming from the inside. And when you think about it like that, the answer already starts to feel very different. Now, niacinamide can absolutely change how the skin feels. For many people, it makes the skin calmer, less irritated and generally a bit less reactive. And when the skin looks calmer, acne can look less intense. Redness goes down, the skin looks more even, and everything feels a bit less inflamed. And that's usually where the idea comes from that niacinamide helps with acne. But that doesn't mean the reason the acne showed up has changed. If acne is being driven by what you eat every day, by constant stress, by poor sleep, by blood sugar swings, or even by environmental load, then a topical product can't really fix that. It can make the skin more comfortable while the acne is still there, but it doesn't remove the trigger underneath. And this is where you may get stuck. You keep applying something to the outside, waiting for your acne to stop, while the reason it's happening is still there every single day. So when nothing really changes, it feels confusing. And then you start questioning your skin barrier, your pores, or whether you're doing skincare wrong, when in reality the skin is simply reacting to what's going on internally. From that perspective, the question isn't really, does niacinamide help with acne? But, what is causing my acne in the first place? Because once that part is addressed, the skin often settles down. And at that point, niacinamide might still have a place, not as the solution, but as something that helps your skin feel better while things underneath are changing. But it was never going to be the thing that fixes acne. And I think AI summaries make this confusion worse, because they treat acne as a surface problem that can be solved with a surface fix. That sounds reassuring, but it doesn't match reality. So if niacinamide seems to help you, that doesn't mean it cured acne. And if it doesn't help at all, that doesn't mean your skin is broken. It usually just means that acne isn't coming from the place you're trying to treat. And once you shift that perspective, a lot of the frustration around skincare starts to disappear. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!